from BBC London at a much earlier time due to the World Cup football. I'm Riz Lateef. We start with the findings of an independent review into maternity care that says our services are regularly failing to deliver high-quality care to women and needs urgent reform. The investigation looked into a range of NHS trusts, including the one that runs maternity services in Ilford and Romford. There, women and their families have described distressing experiences that left them feeling unsafe and unheard. Alice Bandukravi has been speaking to some of them, and I should warn you, you may find some of the details in her report upsetting.
Baby Ada Rose was born at Queen's Hospital in 2024. She was a full-term, healthy baby, but her spine and skull were catastrophically damaged by the use of forceps during her delivery, and she died just a few weeks later.
When we went down to theatre, the whole process, the whole experience from there was just complete chaos. I think before that it was a lot calmer. In theatre, it was chaos. Nobody was talking to anyone. There was no communication with us at all.
Brooks is one of several cases at Queen's Hospital in Romford and one of hundreds around the country. Now a new report into maternity and neonatal care by Baroness Amos recommends, among other important measures, the establishment of a maternity commissioner with a relentless focus on improving care, a consistent national standard so that the care a family receives isn't dependent on where they live, and an overhaul of triage services, including women being invited into hospital if they have ongoing concerns.
Not listening to women is front and centre of what I heard time and time again. I talked in my interim report about racism, discrimination, inequality. That has got to be addressed as a matter of urgency.
Brooke says she did not give informed consent for a so-called instrumental delivery, and she never would have.
My baby had the worst type of injury that anyone can ever sustain, which led to her death. And that's something that no one should ever have to live with, I have to live my life knowing that her very short life was filled with pain and filled with suffering.
In response to today's report, Barking, Havering and Redbridge University Hospital's NHS Trust said they have made improvements to their maternity services and added in a statement,
"We are truly sorry that these positive changes came too late for families who have experienced harm or bereavement. We know we must do more. We will continue to improve how we communicate with parents, respond to complaints, and ensure the maternity care we provide is the best it can be."
Maternity services have now been rated as good by the CQC, but Brooke says she's still very fearful and would never wish her experience to happen to anyone else ever again. Alice Bandukravi, BBC London.
And I appreciate that is a tough watch, and if anything in Alice's report has impacted you or maybe someone you know, please don't feel alone, because there are organisations who can help. The BBC has a list of places you can contact in confidence for support. Just search online for BBC Action Line. A teenage boy has died after entering the water in East London. Emergency services were called to the Royal Victoria Dock yesterday afternoon. The boy, believed to be 13, was recovered from the water and pronounced dead at the scene. A police investigation is underway, and Lakshmi Gopal sent this report.
Emergency services were called to this part of the Royal Victoria Dock at around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The police, paramedics, London Fire Brigade and the Coast Guard all attended. The boy, who's believed to have been 13 years old, was recovered from the water and was given first aid, but sadly he was pronounced dead at the scene. I've been speaking to one of the residents here, Catherine Reynolds, whose partner witnessed what happened.
It was a real big shock because this community is obviously very happy when it comes to having the pool in hot weather, and teenagers often go swimming there quite often, but the water is quite deep and quite cold, so the tragedy was preventable, but unfortunately not on this occasion. And you could hear the helicopter come by from the flats and all the police descended. I must admit, it was really impressive how all the community came together. The police and the crew were very fast in reacting, but unfortunately it was just too little too late that they could do.
And I understand there were members of the public who tried to offer their help as well.
There was, and my condolences to the family because it's a shock to lose someone so young.
The police have confirmed that no other people were reported to have been in the water, and they're not treating the incident as suspicious. Officers are asking people not to speculate about what happened and not to share distressing material online out of respect for the family. The force is investigating the full circumstances of the incident.
Laxmi Gopal there, reporting from Royal Docks. A murder investigation is underway after a 22-year-old man was found fatally stabbed in Hounslow in the early hours of this morning. Roads near to the scene on Bath Road have been closed for most of the day. Police say no arrests have yet been made and are appealing for any information. From tomorrow, a new weight restriction will come into effect on Vauxhall Bridge. It comes after signs of deterioration were found by Transport for London. The new 18-tonne limit has been described as safety critical and will stay in place whilst plans are made to fix the problems. But emergency vehicles and buses will be exempt from the restriction. Next, to the quality of our waterways. A campaign group is calling for greater public control of our water companies after near record levels of E. coli were recorded in the River Thames near Fulham last week. Thames Water has confirmed that a sewage spill occurred in the area after a highly localised storm. With more, here's our reporter, Thomas McGill.
Searching for treasure on the banks of the Thames, Lucas is a regular mudlarker and says he's seen firsthand the effects of sewage spills on the river.
Especially on that side where there was this big reef. There was literally a reef of wet wipes and plastics.
We started in January of 2025 and we've been testing pretty much every week since then.
Lucas is not alone. Many rowing clubs now carry out their own water test.
And the majority of our findings, over 75% roughly, have been above the safe level for swimming, which is a threshold of 900 colony-forming units of E. coli, and we've periodically been seeing it much higher than that. Members often report that they can smell or they can see the scum on the boats when they've been on the water and it's been especially bad. And it's very unpleasant for the athletes to know that they're rowing in this E. coli.
Fulham Reach Boat Club also regularly monitor water quality. Last week they found 58,000 units of E. coli in the water. The Environment Agency say they rate water quality as poor when it reaches 900 units. So last week's finding was about 60 times that. Well, Thames Water have confirmed that an isolated sewage spill did occur here at Fulham Reach during operational scheduled maintenance of the Tideway Tunnel. They say that maintenance was scheduled to coincide with the dry weather in order to minimise risk, and that a localised storm occurred which resulted in the spillage. Now experts have renewed calls for the government to step in and take control of failing utility companies like Thames Water.
What we need to see is the new government, when it's formed, to put Thames Water into a special administration regime, wipe off all that junk debt and replace it with an ownership model that prioritises public interest and environmental protection.
For now, Lucas mudlarks alone, hopeful that one day, when the water is cleaner, he can bring his daughter.
My 6-year-old, she's very enthusiastic about mudlarking. I took her a few times, but it's always gloves. It's always handheld close to me, because I'm just worried that if she's going to trip and fall, she will, catch some nastiness.
Thomas McGill, BBC London.
Now to the latest West London residents. The baby beavers known as kits were born to parents who were released in Ealing in 2023. Conservationists say their introduction to Paradise Fields has reduced flooding and boosted biodiversity in the area, and that it shows beavers and humans are thriving alongside one another. Wendy went to meet wildlife experts there.
We knew we wouldn't see the beaver mum and her new kits when we set out in the middle of the day at Paradise Fields. They come out in the evening, and the locals are ready with their cameras.
Baby beaver, mummy beaver.
And plenty of activity has been captured at night by the Ealing Beaver Project.
When you have seen the kits this year's brood, what have they been doing?
Oh, when Wendy, you know, I'm a hardened scientist, but it's even, you know, warmed cockles in my heart. They are super, super cute, and the first one came out last week, and it was being rolled around by Mum, and she was always dunking it in the water to get it waterlogged, because they're really fluffy and buoyant when they first come out. You see them sitting up high on the water, bobbing along, and like they're like little Energizer bunnies basically going around. And she was rolling it in the water and grooming it and getting its coat ready and dipping it under. And it was just amazing to see that interaction, you know.
Beavers came back to Ealing in 2023, and they've been leaving their mark ever since.
Interestingly, what they've done here, the brook is just behind us. They've carved out more on this side of the tree to fell the tree into the brook, so they can sit in the water and process it up and feel safe.
We have seen an explosion in terms of the invertebrates that are coming here. We're seeing more birds coming to site. We have recorded at least 2 new bat species on site, and it's been really great to watch this neglected site that was being overshaded and kind of choked out, starting to open up and get more biodiversity.
From the sheer delight of their presence and increased public engagement, they seem to have had a positive impact on humans too. Greenford Station, downstream from here, no longer floods.
They're slowing the flow when we have heavy rainfall events. They're sinking the flow as well into the ground, because the ground here is wetter, even surrounding the river itself. And they're creating these complex wetlands that basically draw down that water and hold it for longer. And it takes water now, instead of minutes to flash through the system into urban Greenford, it takes hours for it to percolate through each dam. And it's worked. You know, the second winter that they were here, no flooding downstream. Third winter just passed, no flooding in that targeted zone downstream.
Beavers are a keystone animal, nature's engineers, and their babies, born last week, suggest that the colony in Ealing is thriving. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
Okay, time for a look at the weather with Kate, and the sunflowers are out.
Yes, although there wasn't quite so much sunshine today in comparison to the last few, especially last week. There was a bit more cloud this morning, which made those temperatures feel very pleasant. Some sunny spells developed though through this afternoon. We got up to around 24, 25 Celsius. Now, as we head into this evening and overnight, we have a front coming through. There's cloud. We could get the odd shower, but they're fizzling out. It should be largely dry to the end of the night with a few clearer spells, minimum 14 to 16. If you get one of those clear spells, it is a full moon. The strawberry moon should be visible overnight tonight. Now, as we head through Wednesday, cloud through the middle part of the day. It should get nibbled back through towards this evening. Temperatures getting up to 26 tomorrow, and the temperature is going to continue to creep up. Now, we have got a cold front overnight Thursday. It is going to bring some cloud to Thursday morning, maybe some murkiness, but that is going to clear out of the way. Plenty of sunshine to end the day, and those temperatures are getting higher. We're looking at a maximum on Thursday of around 26 or 27 Celsius, and that upward trend continues through to the end of the week. Lots more sunshine to come, and actually, if you look at the temperatures through the weekend, high 20s. Next week, we could be getting into the low 30s. Obviously, that's quite a long way away, but it is looking likely those high 20s through the weekend. If we do get those 3, it is going to be heatwave criteria.
Okay, Kate, thanks for keeping us posted there. And that is it from us at this earlier time due to the World Cup coverage, which starts in a moment here on BBC One and iPlayer. Thanks for watching, and whatever you're doing, have a lovely Tuesday evening. Bye-bye.